Hello and welcome to episode 31 of Unemployed to Unstoppable. In this episode, we'll be looking at a review of the season that we've just finished and doing some transfers to prepare ourselves for our first season in the Championship. So stay tuned and I'll take you through it. And welcome back. So here we go. A review of the season 2023 for Exeter. We weren't there at the start. We joined before halfway, but we were quite low in the table. So we look at the new arrivals. Again, Keir Kirk, star man. We signed him. Dane Oliver, he was already at the club, but he scored quite a lot of goals. Tim Carney, he was already in on loan. Absolutely exceptional goalkeeper. I think he broke the clean sheets record. Denver Hume was already there. Ryan Broom was already there, who played as our shadow striker. It was actually a really good player. Niall John, he managed to force his way into the team towards the end as well. Great little midfielder, scored a few key goals on the way. Davenport was already there. Cameron West was one that we signed to play on the right-hand wing. And Tom Ince was a new player, but he was very hit and miss, really. So in terms of transfers, the ones that we made the Starman signing and Cameron West, who played quite a few goals out on that right wing. So not bad signings. Transfers out-wise, we let Shane Lavery go. 1.4 million we got for him. So a good bit of money. And he really didn't want to stay there. Same as Randall Williams, he didn't want to stay. So we let him go as well. David Glackin, again, he was never going to feature for us, so we just let him go. In terms of loan players, John Sherritt and Ryan O'Day, they went out on loan, but I think they don't have enough potential to stay long term. So again, their contracts are probably going to expire at the end of the season, and we're just going to let them go and replace them with better prospects. In terms of results then, so in the league, expectation was a top half finish. Final position was 6th, so we just crept in there on the last day of the season with Forest Green losing and giving us the opportunity. Top scorer was Keir Kirk, who only signed in the January transfer window, which is pretty spectacular from his part. You can see from the results, it started off pretty poor. We took over that Forest Green game there, where we got beat on our first game in charge, but we managed to steady the ship with a couple of draws. Took an absolute hammering at Blackpool, where I thought we had a massive job on our hands. But from there, we went on an absolutely fantastic run. We had a 6-game winning streak. Slipped up to Peterborough, but they were quite high and quite hard team to play against. Got another couple of wins, followed by, so we got a bit sporadic. But all in all, we were winning more than we were getting beat. A 4-0 win at Accrington Stanley, 4-0 win at Burton Albion, 4-1. So yeah, we did great. In the end, it was pretty good as well. So Forest Green, who missed out to us, had actually beat us not long before the end of the season. So they can probably feel a little bit hard done by, but we made it. So there we go. FA Cup then, we managed to get through against Wigan at the second attempt, beat Solihull, beat Grimsby. But then we got beat by Aston Villa, which is one of the games in a previous episode we saw. Gave a good account of ourselves, but weren't able to overcome them. Carabao Cup then, we didn't see that at all. Millwall put us out in the first round. Papa John's Trophy, again, we'd won the first game. That was before we got there. I think we played the Ipswich game and got beat, but it wasn't a priority, so not too much of a drama there. So moments to remember them. Biggest win was a 6-1 win against Colchester. Which is a fantastic result. Not quite sure. I think we were there for that. 3-0 win away at MK Dons in a match to remember. And then goal of the season was scored by John. In that game, weirdly, he scored 2 absolute rockets of goals, and I think that was also in one of the episodes as well. So you should have had a chance to see it. Finance-wise, then, reputation's gone up. Got no new sponsorship deals. In terms of revenue, we have got some increased revenue on sponsorship and prize money, but our broadcast revenue, hospitality and match days gone down. In terms of shirt sales, it's no surprise to me that Kirk's top there. Everyone likes the striker's shirt. New prospect in there. He's signed as a stepping stone to bigger and better things, so I'm not sure how long we'll keep him for. But if we can, we'll keep him for another season. This is how we tended to line up then. So towards the end of the season, Tamplin wasn't there. He was injured quite frequently towards the end. But yeah, we had Kirk playing up front, Broomin as the shadow striker, Weston and the new signing on the right with Tamplin on the left. Tiamkani was brilliant in goals and quite a settled back four. And then John worked his way in towards the end of the season. He wasn't there when I first took over alongside Davenport. In terms of awards then, none for me. No surprise. Fans Player of the Season, FLA, centre-back. Young Player of the Season, Kirk. Signing of the Season, Kirk. We'd already seen John got Goal of the Season. Top goal scorer was Kirk. And that was only with half a season as well, for 16 goals. And most assists, Tamplin. Record breakers then. In half a season, he's got the most goals by a player in a season, which is pretty awesome. Tiamkani, as you said previously, got the clean sheet records. Most player of the match awards in a season, Shane Lavery, who left us, so he must have got them before we let him go, which is a bit of a shame to see him go, but again, he didn't want to be there and he was disrupting the dressing room. And then worst discipline, it's never a good thing to win, but Davenport got it. Playing in that defensive midfield role, it's always going to happen. There we go, history in the making. We've won it, we've done it, we've got to the championship, we've achieved our goals. From where we took over, it looked unlikely, but yeah, we've been fantastic and wholeheartedly deserve a place in the championship. With that being said, I will get into the transfer window, have a look at what we've got. I'll give you a quick look at some players who are already on their way in. So we've got Alfie Woods coming from Liverpool. Again, looks like a fantastic prospect. We've got Alvin Mason coming in on loan, who looks absolutely outstanding. I still can't believe he's actually signing for us, albeit just on loan. And Thomas Goslin as well, another permanent signing as a youth prospect. So we're doing pretty well. For players coming in initially, hopefully now we've been promoted to the championship, we can attract some better players. I'm going to spin on and look what players are released by Premier League clubs, see who we can get in. But yeah, until then, stay tuned and I'll bring you back and show you what we've managed to do. Alright, catch you soon. And welcome back. So the transfer window has concluded. We've brought in all the players we want to. So I'll give you a quick look at the squad size now, which is looking particularly large. I've got it sorted by ability at the minute. And I will go through all the new sign-ins shortly. But that's the size of the squad. I'll just go into the transfer history. And we'll see, we'll step back a year to the tail end of last season. So just before the end of the season, we signed Thomas Goslin as a promising 18-year-old centre-half. But we've immediately sent him out on loan. We then signed Alfie Woods as a promising right-back. Again, just taking the opportunity to sign some young players from ex-Premier League clubs that we can develop for the future. So they're probably looking more at next season or the season after. And then right at the end, we got Alvin Mason from Arsenal at centre-half, who's looking a particularly good player. As we moved into this current transfer window, we bolstered it a bit with some loan signings. So Julian Jovchev, we've got in as a first choice striker from Burnley. We did try and sign him because he was up for grabs, but we weren't able to compete with a Premier League club. But as soon as he signed him, we went in with a loan bid, and we've got him for the duration of the season. We got Cameron Gabadebo, again, another good centre-half who's actually good enough to play just about in the first team. He's just on the bench at the minute, but he'll be pushing for a first team before the end of the season. Scott Robertson was the first sign-in. We actually paid a transfer fee, so we dug our hands in our pockets and actually spent some money. So he comes in at the centre of the park as an improvement in that area. And the scouts recommended we signed him at all costs, so he's looking pretty good. And then I've got Andreas Sondergaard just in as a deputy goalkeeper on loan. because I'd loaned out both our young goalkeepers. So for this season, he'll fill that deputy slot while our players get experience at other clubs playing first team football. And that's because we managed to keep the signing of Tine. Where he is here. So he's signed for another season as a first choice goalkeeper. So that being said, I'll take you into the tactics. So I've pretty much populated what I think our first team choice will be. So it'll be Tim Carney in goals, Hume at left back, McDonald and Mason in the centre, Facey at right back, and Robertson and Davenport will be in that centre midfield role. Tamplin will take the inside forward left. Broom will take the inside forward right as he slipped across from the shadow striker role. Kirk will drop back into that shadow striker role, although we may play about with what his role is specifically to play to his attributes, but we'll see. And then Yovchev comes in up front as the first choice striker. All four of them players can play in all four of them positions pretty much. So we've got a lot of good rotation to add in there. And then the bench is looking quite strong as well. Sondergaard, goalkeeper. Got two centre-halves in Hefeli and Gabadebo. And we've got Jack Sparks, who can play out on the wing. Niall John, who can play in the middle of the park. Cameron West, who can play all the way across that middle row there. And then Videm Oliver as a substitute striker, although I can't imagine he'll get a lot of game time this season with the players we've got. That takes us into the team report then, which kind of looks at what our best 11 is, which is pretty much what we've got. And then in terms of squad depth, we've got Yovchev, Kirk and Oliver up front. On the left, we've got Tamplin, Sparks. Beyond that, we're kind of struggling. We've got Tamplin, Kirk, Broom can all play in that centre mid role, same as Roberts. Broom, Yovchev, West can all play on the right hand side. We tend to have Davenport, Tunnicliffe in the centre midfield role. I don't think Tamplin will really fill in that role too many occasions. We've got Hume at left back with Sparks as deputy, Mason, Facey, Faley, Ramsey, McDonald as our centre backs. And if there was an area I would maybe dip back into the market for, it would be that centre half role. And then at right back we've got Alvin Mason, although he'll play more centre half. So Facey and Ramsey will play at the right back. And then we got Tiem Carney and Sonderberg. So squad's looking actually pretty good. In terms of where we're looking to finish, according to the press, isn't looking too great. So at 300 to 1, we're pretty much fancied to be rock bottom, which isn't a good place to start in. But we will do our best and see if we can compete a little bit higher up the table. Maybe look at spending the last of the transfer budget, because we've still got 2.5 million, 3.4 thousand in the wage budget. There are still some players out there and available. I mean, if I just briefly looked at players now interested in a transfer, I mean, straight away, you've got some players in there. We did have Nemeth in on loan as a potential centre defender, but we opted not to try and get him because another transfer fee of 1.2 million. Although we may dip in there, because if it offers us a little bit extra in terms of first choice, I mean, again, he would, I mean, it's close. So I don't think it's a massive improvement, but he has got a bit more potential. But we may just hold on till the January transfer window before we do anything too drastic. Scheduling wise then, we're going to kick off with a home game against Norwich when we get there, and Portsmouth. I mean, when you look at the championship teams, the championship is so strong now. Some of the teams that are in there, I mean, West Brom, Watford, Stoke, Forest, Norwich, Millwall, Middlesbrough, Hull, Huddersfield, Fulham, Derby, Palace, Coventry. I mean, they're all fantastic teams that, and a large majority of them at some point have played in the Premier League. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see how we grow. Obviously, the first few games will dictate what we have to do in terms of the transfer market. There's the club culture. So using the youth system, it's pretty limited. We've not got any really good players. We have got one good left back, one good right back coming through, but they're not ready for first team yet. We can play a high pressing tempo. We can't really defend solid. We do play direct. We're within the wage budget. All we have to do is fight bravely against relegation, and I'm led to believe that you won't get sacked if you get relegated because it's only fight against relegation. But again, we'll see how we get on. So that being said, we've pretty much concluded all the business we've got to do, and in the next episode we will kick off the season. So again, let me know in the comment section what you think of the transfers we've done, whether you think we've improved it, whether you think we've gone for the wrong areas. I still think maybe centre-back is an area we could look to improve. But other than that, I think we've got a fairly good spread across the squad. Certainly first team, and I think the bench is quite strong as well. So I think we'll be all right. But again, let me know in the comment section if you think we'll finish rock bottom like we predicted, or whether we can break up slightly higher and make a much better effort than they're anticipating. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll get ready for the first games of the season, which should be in tomorrow's episode. And yeah, take care. See you soon.